Welcome to our first day in Singapore. Yesterday, we took a plane from Jakarta to Singapore, brief 2-hour flight, and we kind of settled in for the evening. This morning, we're going to do the most touristy thing you can possibly do, which is go see Gardens by the Bay. It's 10:30 in the morning, 29 degrees, very humid, and I'm already soaking wet. Well, starting to get soaking wet. So you might be asking, what is Gardens by the Bay? Well, as far as we know, it's the number one thing that people do when they record themselves in Singapore on YouTube. So we thought we have to go here. But seriously, it's like a really large outdoor garden, and I think they also have an indoor botanical garden. And they also
forest.
And they have a what?
Cloud forest.
And they have a cloud forest. Stephanie says, I don't know what that is, but it's a kind of cool place. And we thought we'd come here and walk around earlier in the morning to get a little bit of exercise in, and obviously to see the sights and enjoy the outdoors while we can early in the morning. And it looks like we made it right in time to meet the tour buses, so it's good timing. We're now entering the Super Grove, brought to you apparently by Inside Out 2. This is kind of an interesting project with carbon capture and fertilization. I've actually been reading about how Singapore has been very innovative in wetlands restoration, obviously paying very close attention to sea level rise, and they've been doing some really pioneering stuff. So it's kind of interesting to walk through this area and also to just look at the rest of Singapore from Google Maps and kind of envision what they're planning. These gardens are really nice. Most of what I've seen online, people take pictures of this giant grove of, I don't know what to call them, like bio something trees, but they're actually gardens all over the place here in this nice little walkway along the lake. So it's really tranquil and kind of nice and relaxing. Not a lot of people here right now. I think most people come for the show they have. There's like a light show in the evening, and that seems to be very popular. But it's really nice just during the day, although it's very hot out. Very nice during the day just to walk around and look at all the aquatic life and the plant life here. Do they honestly have problems with people fishing in this lake?
There's so much more to Gardens by the Bay than I think a lot of people realize. I had no idea all of this stuff was here. This beautiful sculpture behind us, all these just really nice small little areas once you get away from the tower or the tree forest, I guess. Really, really nice, very peaceful. No one is out here. I think we're really enjoying it.
Well, that was cool walking by
Gardens by the Bay.
Next up, we're going to head, actually, we don't know where we're heading, but we know it involves taking the MRT. So let's see where we end up.
Hopefully with some food. So when we were looking for a place to eat the other day here in Singapore, I found this place called Turk's Kebab, and it got really good ratings. It's a little stall on the street, and I think it's right by a university, so it's got really good prices, and the chicken is so good. We got this huge portion, chicken and fries, for 8 Singapore dollars, so it's less than $8 US, and it's delicious.
The next day, we headed over to the National Museum of Singapore, which unfortunately doesn't allow video. We then headed over to Little India, where we saw the former house of Tan Teng Nia, which was built in 1900. We then headed over to Chinatown and just sort of casually strolled through the streets and then called it a day. Unfortunately, we're at the end of our time in Singapore. We've been here for 2 what seem like very, very brief days. We decided to kind of take our time with the things that we did. There's definitely the YouTube fast run that I see people do where they go through everything, and it looks great, but we just didn't feel like we wanted to do that. And so we spent actually a lot more time at the places that we visited, including the National Museum, it's the National Museum of Singapore, and we spent probably about 3 hours there. We actually took a guided tour and then went back through the museum and had lunch there. And it was really, really interesting. Yeah. I think we probably just could have Googled the history of Singapore, but no, we came to the country and learned about the history of Singapore in the country. And I'm really glad we did. It was really interesting.
The tour helped a lot.
The tour did help a lot. And it was just really interesting about the desire to kind of blend different ethnic groups together, which I really didn't understand. But Singapore has a very, very interesting history, and I think I would definitely recommend going to this museum if you have the time. Unfortunately, most people don't have a lot of time when they come to Singapore because it is expensive. The other place that we spent a long time at was the
Gardens by the Bay.
Yes, thank you. Gardens by the Bay. I've seen a fair amount of YouTube videos where you're seeing that big grove of these sort of
the giant trees
that aren't really trees, they're like plants. But walking through the gardens was really, really relaxing and enjoyable. And I hadn't really seen any videos, although I didn't do a lot of searching, but I hadn't really seen a lot of videos that showed the gardens themselves. It's a very large place, and it was really, I think, enjoyable to just kind of take our time and walk around. We went to a couple other places, Little India and Chinatown, both interesting. And of course, we did some things that we didn't record as well. We went to Newton Food Hall.
Newton Food Hall, which is where they film parts of Crazy Rich Asians.
Yeah, we had some really good food there. Of course, we didn't film that, of course. But that was just sort of as we arrived. So to kind of sum it up, I think we really enjoyed Singapore much more than we had imagined. And
there's actually a lot more to do in Singapore than I had thought. All I knew was Gardens by the Bay and lots of expensive shopping. I didn't know what else was there. So I think what we've come to agree on is we definitely need to come back to Singapore, maybe try to stay a week this time versus just literally a couple of days, so we can really take our time and really get into things and enjoy it.
Yeah, absolutely. And, there is a ton of shopping if you like that. I mean, there's a ton of shopping. But what was really cool, and you've probably heard us say this before, but the malls have an amazing variety of restaurants, like little unique restaurants, right? I mean, there are definitely chains there, but lots of unique restaurants. There's just, and people already know this, but there is just so much food, kind of culinary options in Singapore. It's amazing. We could spend a month there and probably never eat the same thing twice. So yeah, definitely looking forward to going back.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be a wrap for us. We are heading to the airport, and we'll be checking out some of what the Changi Airport has to offer. We're probably not going to do some of the more fabulous things like the
Well,
Jewel.
Well, just because of the terminal we're leaving out of, I think
Yes.
it's the absolute opposite end of where the Jewel is. So
But that's okay. We'll check it out and see what's there. It's a pretty cool airport. At least it was the last time I was there, which was about 10 years ago. So we'll see you in the next one.